How's everyone doing? We doing okay? It's been about 24-ish hours since the devastating news broke about Starfield and Redfall. I didn't think I'd have a hangover with this type of news, but video games are life, I guess. I feel kind of crappy today. I'm sad. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Xbox news update. Today we got a little bit to go through, but mostly what we're focusing on in this video is the 2023 window for Xbox, breaking that down, and of course, inspecting the 2022 window ahead of the Xbox Bethesda Game Showcase, kind of gauging what we can expect for the brand now that there's a lot of vacancy at the end of 2022. And that does apply for everyone at this moment in time. It's looking like fall for video games in general is very empty, but given the numerous showcases we're about to have, I expect that to fill up. But we would imagine that many of us would know about big blockbuster titles at this point in time. So it is a little sad to see how gaming's tapered off so heavily since the month of like March, April. But with that, we've had a lot of time to catch up on our backlogs. Anyway, today we're talking about Xbox. Of course, I wanted to have a two-part conversation about this. Yesterday, much more emotional. Today, I'm feeling a little more composed. So welcome one, welcome all to an Xbox news update. If you're new here, you're looking for more Xbox news and information when they release games, I'll be here. Consider subscribing in advance. With that, let's get into Phil Spencer's response. So I thought that this was going to be just the Bethesda letter, nothing else, let it be, and then have the gameplay speak for itself at another time. Now, of course, many people were divided on this issue with the Starfield Redfall delay. For a lot of people, they were like, why are you even sad? Why does it matter? You're getting better games. Some group of psychics managed to see this coming, even though Bethesda Game Studios literally hasn't dropped gameplay for their last two releases, starting back in 2015 until 5 months from launch. But everyone said, well, that was a telltale sign. It wasn't. The writing was not on the wall for that one. It was a surprise. So there's been a lot of divide in the community, and it looks like Phil Spencer has particularly validated one group. He writes on Twitter, "These decisions are hard on teams making the games and our fans. While I fully support giving teams time to release these great games when they are ready, we hear the feedback. Delivering quality and consistency is expected. We will continue to work to better meet those expectations." That brings us to the other part of the divide, is a lot of people were like, let's not react yet. We have the showcase soon. Maybe Xbox has a contingency plan set in place. A lot of that contingency plan we know about. I want to talk about Phil Spencer's comments in a moment, but let's just take a quick look at what we know about for 2022. There are games like Grounded, which I imagine will enter their 1.0 release. The 1-year exclusivity for Deathloop will be up, so Xbox fans do get to experience something new there, although PlayStation fans already have that, so some of the sizzle wore off for Xbox fans. You have day one Game Pass games like Sniper Elite 5, as well as Two Point Campus, Midnight Fight Express, As Dusk Falls, Atomic Heart, Scorn, Hello Neighbor 2, A Plague Tale Requiem, Replaced, Slime Rancher 2, Somerville. Some of these do fall into the exclusivity category, but that's the broad scope of what we know so far, and it's sort of the same tale of the tape for the first half of the year, which is indies and AA are about to hard carry Xbox until they're ready to have some big releases come out. And we know that for the optics of Xbox, they probably wanted Starfield at the bare minimum to get out no matter what. So I do credit them with doing what's right for the product, even though this is a horrendous look. Xbox fans are tired of the narrative of just wait, this year is going to be sick. We got a taste of that in 2021. Tastes a little better now, knowing how empty this year is going to be. Some of it out of Xbox's hand with like Stalker 2 and to some extent Atomic Heart possibly. But then there are other things that we clearly had control of when we announced certain dates a year and a half in advance, like Starfield. But now I want to go back to Phil Spencer's comments. This is something that fans have argued about a lot. The expectation of high quality and wanting high quality games while not being able to wait for high quality games. It's one of those arguments that you understand both sides of it for, but it's very nice to see Phil understand that we need to have more regular first-party releases. It is a bad look that as of this moment in time, and I imagine something like Forza Motorsport will come out, that we don't have any first-party exclusives planned for 2022, that there are so few ready in the Xbox pipeline that literally when 2 games get delayed, which is good for them, that your whole year is now empty. It's, again, a terrible look. And to know that management understands, yeah, look, we need to be more consistent here. Game Pass is its own machine, right? It's doing great things, as I just highlighted, a ton of day one stuff coming your way that will make us happy. We will get great experiences, but it's not the first-party exclusives, the big ones, the system definers, the identity creators that people have been searching for on this platform for a while. Now, I won't go as far to say, as I've seen some, that this is like the Xbox One era. We're actually getting things this generation, and I feel like that is a complete far cry from what happened during the Xbox One, where that thing was legit a dust collector, no hyperbole. I hopped on that thing maybe once a year to play a Xbox exclusive like Ori, the new Gears. I reviewed Forza Horizon 3 or something like that, and that was really it. So it was every now and then, but I am still regularly using my Xbox, but we can't lie to ourselves and say that we got that same energy now after these delays. And that leads me to wanting to take a look at 2023 and give that a breakdown, because as is the story with Xbox, so let's look to the future, right? And the future, sound like a broken record here, is bright. But the salt is still in the wound here, right? It feels almost, for me at least as a content creator, a little awkward talking about this, because we felt like we had a set plan in place and it kind of had the rug pulled out from under us. So when we were talking about, we get Redfall, we get Starfield, the new era begins, and then next year it really kicks off. Now the whole generation, the whole new era has entirely been delayed. So I want to take a look at 2023, because I don't want to be such a doomer in this video, that when you really do size it up, provided everything does deliver, which we will talk about Xbox and delivery expectations outside of these delays in just a moment. But when you look at things right now, you see things like, of course, we know now the first half of 2023 should deliver Starfield and Redfall. Then you get games that many have forgotten about, and Avowed, a Hellblade 2. To me, these 2 games do seem like realistic 2023 games. Unlike Starfield or Redfall, we have actually seen full gameplay for Hellblade 2, and it looked absolutely incredible. Now, I want to see the actual sword fighting in action, all the training they went through that they talk about at Ninja Theory. I want to see that in action. To me, that don't feel like the full-on gameplay debut. What we saw was the game running at the Game Awards, but at least we actually saw it in action. It's real, and I feel like that's got to be destined for a 2023 release. Then something like Avowed, Obsidian's been rolling. So far, the reports are that that is a game, that is a company that's in good condition right now. They're trucking along. You got a game like Pentiment possibly dropping in the fall of this year from Josh Sawyer's team at Obsidian. That's very exciting, because it's going to be kind of like Disco Elysium. But they have a good chemistry here at the studio, where you see small teams doing things like Grounded and Pentiment, and then they have their big things like Avowed, which are trucking along. But since we haven't seen any Avowed gameplay, I'm not going to lop the expectations on it, but so far, that has been reported as the projected window, and I think it's a plausible one when you look at how long it was in development for, the announcement window, and then the reports afterwards, if we are to believe them, that things for Avowed were on the up and up. So overall, you could hit a 1, 2, 3, 4 quarterly first-party release. Redfall in March, Starfield in June, or maybe flip those two. I think Starfield in March would be really cool to see. Like a 3/3/23 is still that sexy Todd Howard date. You get what I'm saying? Regardless, either of those two are going in the first half, and then maybe you get like a Hellblade in September, and then you get something like Avowed in November. Xbox can have those rolling quarters, and then if you account for a potentially successful Activision deal, which is not a guarantee, as we reported here multiple times, you get something like Diablo 4, Overwatch 2's campaign. Those are day one Game Pass games. I know Xbox has kind of pulled back on exclusivity, But you start to size it up a little bit, maybe Fable, and Xbox's 2023 does look pretty legendary. But the reality is, fans are tired of waiting. And what I worry about is post-2023, what things look like for them again. What's ready for them again? Why I say that is now getting into my point about delivery and expectations of Xbox is I did find the, for example, State of Decay reports by Kotaku to be something of a nothing burger on a staffing front, given the amount of employees they had and the amount who had actually reported information. But one of the pieces of that report that I think is worth entertaining is the game being stuck in pre-production this far into its development cycle. I can believe something like that. Or what happened with Perfect Dark, losing half of its original staff, and now Crystal Dynamics being scooped up by Embracer Group and obviously probably setting things back again as they get organized to be under new leadership. Think about it. Like, that is your future. Everwild, development hell. Thank God for Sea of Thieves for those who are playing it. It is one of Xbox's most popular games, even if it's not I call it a sexy game. It's not one that you see a lot of people talking about in many articles and YouTube videos, but it is a damn popular game. Thank God that Rare has that, because if they didn't, they would be the focus of conversation about Everwild. So a lot of Xbox's projected future is far off. And if you go into the far, far future, Elder Scrolls 6 will say, I mean, that's another one, right? That with the delay of Starfield sets that back. So that's why I always say it wasn't really just the delay of Starfield and Redfall, but in a lot of ways the delay of an entire era of Xbox. And there will be surprise announcements. Like, I could see a Gears Marcus Phoenix collection coming out this year, but then the familiarity sets in a little bit more, right? Then you start to see your Forza, your Gears. You're like, man, how many times have I seen this? A Forza Halo, Forza Gears. It's like the same thing from the 360 generation. That's what defined the 360. Here we are 2 generations later, and we're still leaning on those pillars when they should just be supporting pieces for the new guys in town. But you can't rush greatness. And the bigger problem will be, if we think this is a problem now, we won't be complaining when the game comes out if it's good. If it's good. If these games come out and they're bad, they're under-delivering, they're clearly games that were in development hell and really come out in a rough state, that will be a worse look for Xbox than anything we're talking about here. And that's probably why they push for the delay, because they know that there is the foresight that, yes, this is bad now, but if we deliver really good games, that's all people really do care about at the end of the day. They'll just talk about the wait. They'll think about something like Elden Ring, which is a standing example of multiple delays and it being worth the wait entirely. But I do worry for Xbox because they don't have a lot of room to fail here at all. If Redfall comes out and it's a little soft, or Starfield comes out and it's really buggy, not good at all, it's the next Cyberpunk, yeah, that is going to be devastating. So they know they need to nail it, so I trust that they'll do just that. But it's going to be a pretty bleak picture for the time being. And now you got to wonder with the showcase how they are going to, if they even have time to, make up for things. Will what they show off be exciting enough for fans, or will it sort of be the 2021 showcase 2.0, where, again, we're going to be reminded of the things like, here's Scorn, here's Slime Rancher 2, here's Plague Tale Requiem. Those are the question marks lingering in my head, because those were nice surprises last year, but what about this year? What's going to surprise me this year heading into the showcase for next year? That's usually how I time it out. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've got to say in this video. It's not a great time to be an Xbox fan if you're looking for first-party exclusives. If you like Game Pass, which many of us do, it's a great time. They're still pounding away with day one releases. That's still hype. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I dish it off to you. How are you feeling today, 24 hours after the big news? Have you come down to earth a little bit? Or are you like me? You're getting a bit of a hangover? Fire away. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who support the hell out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.